Welcome back to Ultra Review, episode number 8. We are reviewing the first 3 episodes of the second series of the Ultra franchise, and the name that basically gives the franchise its name, Ultraman! Released in 1966. Now, we're discussing the first 3 out of 39 episodes. And I made the decision prior to starting this that I will be taking a break halfway through the series. I didn't do it for Ultra Q, mainly because there's only 28 episodes and really need a break. I can just basically breeze super quickly. And I proved to be correct about that. This one I only plan to go to like episode 20 and take a brief break to work on some One Piece and some Doctor Who stuff, and then come back to it to pretty much cap it off. And after I finish up with this series, I'll be working on 5-Man from Super Sentai. Now, in the case of this particular series, we do see the return of Toshiba's actor, Soji, what was his last name? Because he plays one of the main characters of the series. I kind of forgot his name. Let me look up on here. Excuse me. Here it is. Alright, so, let's see. So the members are, let's see. We have Shin Hayata. He's pretty much the star of this series. You don't see him do a lot of the time unless you have see Ultraman himself. He is played by an actor by the name of Shizumi Karobi. And he is actually still pretty much alive. Yeah, he is. He's actually a few years older than the suit actor. It was interesting. Where apparently his daughter was an Ultra Tinga. Ultra Tinga, if you don't know what that one is, that was I believe, the entry into the Heisei era for Ultraman. I'll be coming in the future, don't worry about that. Now, he, of course, is the star of the series. I'll get to basically this whole thing with him. There's also Toshio Toshio. He is played by, of course, Akaji Kobayashi, who, if you're familiar with this particular actor, this is Toshiba's actor. This, of course, was about, now, when this series was released, it was 1960. It was roughly 5 years for the release of Kamen Rider. So, yeah, just 5 years away from his debut in Kamen Rider. So, it is interesting, though, that he is actually one of those few actors I've seen on multiple franchise for series. You have him, you have the actor who played Kamen Rider V3. I've seen him on Super Sentai for a couple of series. Of course, also P3, and also his guest appearance on Metal Heroes. Let me think. The only one I can think of who's done multiple, aside from those two, aside from him and, of course, this guy, is the guy who's the star of Space Sheriff Gavin. He, of course, was in Denzi Man. It was actually Bad Fever J and Denzi Man. Then he did, of course, Space Sheriff Gavin. And that's pretty much it for him. He's only known for playing like 3 characters. Unlike in the case of the actor with V3, he's played like 5 or 6 different characters. His favorite character was the character he did when he was working on Jack. But now, part of this organization I think it's known as the Special Science Patrol. I believe the name of the organization is the Science Special Search Party. That's the name of the group. And of course, made its debut in the first episode, Ultra Operation Number 1. It's part of the International Science Police Organization. They wear these orange jumpsuits, and when they're not basically, they only wear those, from what I can tell, whenever they go in the field, because when they're in the office, well, it's basically an HQ, they wear these the guys wear blue suit coats, the lady of the group wears one too, and all wear khaki pants. The other members are Dosuke or Arashi. There's also Mochiro Aidi, Arako Fuji, who is the sole female member of the group. Yeah, they keep bringing the fact that she's the only female member of the group because she is. There's also Ishmael Husho. He is basically like a junior member of the group. Yeah, he's basically her younger brother. Now, of course, the first few episodes we fight. Of course, you have Ultraman himself, which I'll get to him. We fight a creature named Belmore, who's described as a freaking demon who's basically on his way to a monster graveyard. No, seriously, that's basically what it is. Yeah. And there's also Alien Bottom, which is this alien creature who just has these claw-like hands and freezes people. Now, in this particular story, they are... Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about this particular alien. He is a redesign of a monster from Ultra Q, the Sending Human. Yes, it's pretty much a modified costume of it. Yeah. And there's also Naragana, which is this giant... Well... he was basically a modified Naragana suit. Now, Ultraman himself, well, makes the debut, well, technically in a show known as Birth of Ultraman, which I like to discuss here. Now, Ultraman himself, if you're really curious... Ultraman looks like this. This is Ultraman. And the way they have it here is that he saves the main character from crashing, so he is fault because of the fact he brought this monster to Earth, the first monster they fight in the series. He basically gives himself his life to be his host. And gives this beta capsule to summon him. And I was saying, like, would it be better to have basically a bracelet where you get, like they do in Super Sentai, but this is 10 years, this is basically a decade before that. So, then, of course, everything he said, of course, when they go in the field, they have camper system. This, of course, in the first episode, they go look for him. Because they can find him, and of course, the communications officer gets a call from him saying, bring this special submarine. And then, of course, the captain of the group is like, I didn't summon that. It's like, oh yeah, Hayata basically asked for that. Really? It must be kidding. Nope, not kidding. Oh yeah, and they also bring up the fact that the joke about she's a woman. That, yeah, it's a minor joke about her gender, but it doesn't really hurt at all per se. And then of course, where they basically fight the creature while on the surface and in the water too, because the creature's basically in the water. So then, of course, basically, well, they bring it to the surface, and eventually we bring about Ultraman. Use Baby Crystal, and he proceeds to sort of wrestle him, and eventually, thanks use his special beam, which does like this. He like fires something from part of his arm, and basically is like a beam and destroys the monster. It's a not bad fight per se, but it is interesting to see a giant alien fight another alien in the series. Well, fight like a monster. And this is basically a similar type of thing he would do over the course of the Marine episode, over the course of this whole series. Next episode involves basically these group of aliens who invade a science building. Of course, basically, there's some deal with it, and of course they have to try to negotiate, and it turns out the aliens are here because their planet died, and there's 2.3 billion members of their party who arrived at Earth basically making their home, and they disagree because there's too many, and apparently... Now, here's the thing. They mentioned the Earth population at that point was 2.2 billion. Now, here's the thing. It is completely unknown if that was the... I don't know if that was the actual population at the time, because currently it's like 7 or 8 billion now. Yes. So... Then, of course, they start fighting. Of course, they have one of the aliens go giant size. It also has the alien's ability to copy himself. Yes, copy himself. And Ultraman, basically, Ultraman was like, nearly he falls out of the building. Because he drops, and of course, he eventually turns Ultraman. Ultraman fights in the middle of a city and then beats him. Next episode involves basically the communication going around the people with their brother, where they investigate this noise at a well, which had to be the Monster Day episode. This episode was a lot of fun, but Sadly, I don't remember a lot of the episode because I fell asleep. It was because basically it was boring. That was not the reason why. I was kind of enjoying it. The problem was I was feeling sleepy because I had a headache. Excuse me. I did kind of see the ending where Ultraman comes in, basically it's the monster episode, but excuse me. This series is definitely very enjoyable so far, and looking forward to watching the remaining episodes. Which at this point there are 36 episodes left to go, but I'm only going to go through about 17 more and I'll stop. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty much the particular review. Next up is going to be a comic card. You have one to do. Yeah, one to do. And then I'll probably call it a night. I'll probably do some more reviews tomorrow. I was planning heading out tomorrow, but let's just say personal reasons why I can't go out tomorrow. Unless somehow basically I can. But normally I go to my local bookstore to go get graphic novels, but let's just say I can't go to personal reasons. I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, so now there's also a Marshall in Case Closed. I'll probably save Marshall for tomorrow. And hopefully I can turn to Case Closed. Okay? But next up is Comic Corn. I'll probably call it, and I may get a chance to do one more after that. Okay? Next video. Bye.